Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to be going over a basic freediving warm-up, not only for my body, but for my diaphragm and lungs. So one of the things that I have practiced over the last few years, Uddiyana Banda, which is basically a yoga term for diaphragm stretching. So the reason why diaphragm stretching is handy for freediving is because when we go down, so 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters, obviously because of the pressure gradients, that's a lot of pressure on our bodies. And our diaphragm will naturally compress and stretch. And so if your diaphragm is flexible, you're going to be more comfortable diving and you're going to be able to dive deeper and for longer. So I like to practice these as a part of a morning warm-up. If you are someone that's never experienced moving your diaphragm before, this is a good place to start. It can be really foreign, and I'm sure you would have seen it in yoga classes with different kinds of breathing. So yeah, we'll get started. So basically, you want to be doing this on an empty stomach. So first thing in the morning is ideal. You can't really do any lung or diaphragm exercises on a full stomach. It's impossible really, but also extremely uncomfortable. So I recommend not eating before this. I recommend also if you're starting out doing it in front of a mirror, so that way you can see what your body's doing and yeah, you can like gauge what's going on. So I'm going to pull my top up to here so you can see my diaphragm and ribs. So this area, basically what happens when we do this kind of stretching is on an inhale, if you are doing it the yoga way, you breathe in and out through your nose, but I prefer to do it in and out through my mouth as if I'm training for freediving. So we're inhaling on a full inhale, and then on the exhale, you let all your air out, and then we're gonna suck in our diaphragm up under our rib cage. So I'll run through it one time, and then we can run through it a couple of other cycles and you guys can join in. So make sure you're sitting comfortably. Some of you might prefer to sit cross-legged. I prefer to sit like this. I'll just move this forward a bit. So I'm going to do an inhale and then an exhale, and I'll show you what I mean. So that's me doing a really basic version of that. That's basically pulling my diaphragm up and under my rib cage. So from the side, it looks like this. It looks kind of gnarly from the side, but if you've noticed in some of my freedive videos, people always comment that you can see freedivers' rib cages. That's not from any kind of malnutrition, that's just from us compressing our diaphragms and it being pulled up under our rib cage. So it looks the same from the side. So I'll do a full inhale, then an exhale and pull it up. So that's a really basic like explanation of how you can stretch your diaphragm. So if you're completely new to that, yeah, do it in front of a mirror. It's really handy. Basically what you're doing is you're pulling your diaphragm up under your rib cage, and you're actually also blocking. It's like you're trying to inhale up the top. So you'll notice also if I was doing this without this on, you'd be able to see that my like clavicle, my collarbones is like really sucked in. So if you're like doing like this and you're watching other freedivers or yoga people do it, you'll notice their collarbones look really indented at the same time, and that's just from this bit compressing as well. All right, so I'll run through 3 cycles so you can do it with me. So inhale. Go forward. So last one, we're going to do an inhale, a big inhale, like a free dive inhale. So inhale diaphragm, inhale chest, inhale neck, hold for 1 second, full exhale. So neck, chest, diaphragm. On the exhale, we're exhaling out, going all the way down. And then at the bottom, sucking up your diaphragm up under your rib cage, hold for 5 seconds. So we'll practice doing that. Okay, so in your own time, or you can follow along with me. So that's a really basic diaphragm stretching. I find that handy, and obviously you can do that to whatever intensity you feel, and you'll get used to the discomfort that feels like. Some days I do really mild ones, and some days I can really suck it up and under, and that is naturally what happens to my ribs and my diaphragm when I go down, I don't know, like 30 meters or more. It's really quite intense on my diaphragm, so that's why I like to practice. So next you can just do some basic lung stretches and intercostal muscle stretching. So these are your intercostal muscles all through this side and this side of your rib cage. Obviously, where our lungs, the more flexible our lungs are and the muscles around our lungs, is going to affect our breath hold ability. It does make you feel a lot more stretched out as well. So some really basic ones you can do. You can either do this sitting like this, or you can sit cross-legged. I might sit cross-legged for these ones. You're going to inhale, full free dive inhale. So inhale belly, chest, neck. So we're going to do that again, but we're going to lift our arms for the inhale. So you can follow along with me. And so what we're doing is we're not letting the air out until the end. So we're going to do 2 cycles, one with air in our lungs, one without air in our lungs. Inhale. So that was one cycle. Now we're going to run through that same thing. So one inhale, one exhale movement. And I'm going to vary between going up and sideways. And then after I've done an inhale and exhale on that, I'm going to go up and over. So stretching this way. And then we'll come to the middle and exhale. And then do the same on an exhale breath. So yeah, you can follow along with this if you like. One round is one inhale of each and one exhale. So that's some really basic diaphragm and lung stretches you can do. I really like those. They make you feel really warmed up all throughout this whole region. And basically you want to just get used to the feeling of this whole area compressing and stretching. So whether that's like when you're coming over this way, it's these areas, and then when you're coming forward, you're compressing all your area, pulling your diaphragm up, and that's stretching it. So yeah, it's really good warm up for whether you're into freediving or not. It's a really good way to warm up your respiratory system. Next, I'm just going to run over a basic little yoga warm up that I do. So on top of the diaphragm and lung stretching, I like to warm up my body a little bit. So obviously with freediving, the more relaxed you are, the better you're going to be, and the better you're going to feel. So I notice that most people tend to hold all their tension in their neck, me being one of those people. So I do a lot of neck stretches, I do a lot of hip stretches, and obviously with freediving, if you are using long blade fins, your ankles do a lot of work. So you want to be warming up your ankles and your legs as well. So I'm going to just run over some basic neck stretches. So this is kind of what I do before I go for a free dive. So you can sit either like this or cross-legged. So in your own time, I like to do just like 5 neck rolls either way. So always make sure that your posture is good, that you're sitting up straight and your shoulders up, like up, back and down away from your ears. So I'm going to do 5 neck rolls one way and 5 the other way. So ear to shoulder and then go one way. Back the other way. My neck cracks a lot. Okay, then back to center. I just like to do up and down. So 5 up and down, so all the way up. All the way down. Just make sure that your shoulders are down away from your ears. And then next, I just like to put my ear to my right shoulder, and then kind of like put my hand here, but keep this hand on the ground. Focus on pulling this shoulder down away from this ear, and then just with the weight of your hand, pulling your ear towards your opposite shoulder. So I like to stay here for like 5 to 10 seconds, and then turn my chin down to my like underarm and pull down. You should feel it like all through here. And come back to center. Then we're going to do the other side. So same on the other side. So hand touching the floor. Wait, I'm a lot tighter on this side. So same again. And then chin to underarm area down. Okay, so that's really basic shoulder warm up. You can also just do basic like ones that open up between your shoulder blades. That area gets pretty tight. I kind of do the same shoulder warm-ups for freediving as I do for surfing. Like these ones, it's basically like pulling down. You can do like tricep stretches, anything that's like opening up your top half of your body and your neck. Because in freediving, a lot of people, especially if you've got a background in spearfishing or underwater photography, everyone swims like this, and then their neck gets compressed at the back, and even these muscles get all tight, and it doesn't help your breath hold, and also doesn't help your ability to equalize. So I'm just going to do a really basic yoga warm-up. So some of the main areas that are important for freediving are our ankles and hips, so I like to warm those up first, and our hamstrings. So start from standing and then just fold down over your legs. Nothing fancy here, just a basic forward fold. Stay here for a bit and walk your feet out. Come a bit closer. So walk your feet out, like twist your hips around. Getting out of bed, your hips are probably pretty tight. I'll go on the side so you can see what this looks like. So it doesn't matter if your knees are not straight. If they're bent, that's totally fine. If they're like this, that's fine. Just wherever is comfortable for you. So just spend a bit of time here, like walking your feet out. If you want to, from here, I like to just do some basic twists. So if your legs are shoulder width apart, and just do some basic opens to the side. It's really good for your spine as well. Stay here and then just let your head hang for a little bit. T-shirt's falling down. Just kind of like sway around a bit. And then from here, I like to open my legs into like a wide stance. We're going to basically do the same thing. So wide to here, this is better for your hips. So you're just going to come down nice and low. Hands on the ground, or you can have them hanging. If you're not as flexible, you can have your knees bent. And we're just going to do some basic bending and knee, like side lunges, but with your hands are holding your body up. If you are more comfortable or more flexible, you can go all the way down. So I like to come all the way down into this and kind of like, you're like crab crawling. It's a really good stretch for everything in your legs. A modification of this is obviously hands on the ground and not going down as far. If you can get down, so if you're down here, a really great stretch on top of this. If you're sitting comfortably, you'll notice that my bum and that is not on the ground. You can wrap this front arm around and open up the chest at the same time. Look up to the sky. It's a really good chest opener. Go to the other side. Or you can sit back if you want. Kind of takes the stretch out of your hips a bit. Okay, so that's another basic one. If you were just up in this area, you can also stay in a wide position like this, and you can go side to side for some spinal twists too. So just walking over to one side and stretching up, and then walking over to the other side, doing the same thing. So you can really like move into that. Those are really good like whole body movements. Obviously anything in your hips is also related to your lower back. So if you've got tight hips or a tight lower back, one's going to affect the other. So I always like to do a lot of hip and back flexibility stuff. Another one you can do for your hips is just basically sitting like this. So If you can only get your legs to here, that's fine. If you can get your legs wide, that's great. So sit in a comfortable position. Make sure you're sitting on your sit bones. Make sure you're not like hunching forward. You should be able to sit where your back is still straight. So this is not only good for these muscles here and your hips and glutes, but you can also stretch your arms. So in this position, we're just going to do a little flow. So arms out and then over. So reaching over, doesn't matter how far you can go. Come up, over to the other side. Come up, do a few more of these. And just breathing like normally, breathing as you want to be breathing. And then from here, we'll keep going, but with thread underneath. So this is a really good intercostal muscle stretch. Thread underneath. I like to exhale. Come up. This next one, go a little bit further. Slide that bottom hand right down and over. And if you're comfortable here, try to open up, like you're opening up your chest to the sky. You're not focusing on going over, you're like really opening. Back over. Same on this side, opening up. I like to do like 10 rounds with that. It's a really good stretch. Coming over and just staying here for a while. And if you can get to here, you can kind of open your chest up like towards the sky. It's really good to opening up your side body as well as your ribs. So if you go the other side, just threading the needle and reaching over and grab your foot. Should really feel it like all through your lower back and side body. And then from there, it's really good to do some feet warm-ups. So with freediving, our feet do a lot of work. So obviously when we're finning, they're flexing forward and back constantly. So a lot of people, when they go to use long blade freediving fins, get like cramps and have a lot of trouble with them. And that is often due to just your body not being used to it, but also having not flexible ankles or feet. So if you've done any gymnastics or ballet, you probably will have really flexible feet. Find these exercises easy, and if you don't, you might find them difficult. The idea is that you just have an idea of where your feet can go to and know some exercises that you can do to help them. So we're just going to start out with pointing our feet forward first. So point your feet forward and then pull them all the way back. So flex your feet as far back as you can. And then next one, point your feet and lock your knees and pull your feet off the ground while you're pointing your feet. So your quads are tight and on, your whole legs and your heels have lifted off the ground. And then pull your feet back off the ground. So squeeze your legs, squeeze your quads, suck your core in, pull your feet back. I'm going to do that 5 times. So point your feet forward as hard as you can, pull your feet back. Point as hard as you can, flex your feet back. Point as hard as you can, flex your feet back. Last one, point as hard as you can, really point and then pull all the way back. So you might find that quite hard if you've never done that before. Modification is to have your legs just chilling on the ground and doing that. Another one is if you can reach, you can use your hands to help that, so you can push your feet down and pull your feet back with your hands. So that helps. If you can't get your legs, if you can't sit comfortably, like with your legs flat like this, you can, if your knees are bent, that's fine as well. So you just be doing the same thing. So you're just pointing. You want to be just stretching this area of your foot and then stretching this area of your feet under here like the arches. The next one is same position, so sitting here, except your legs are going to be a lot more relaxed. And you're going to open your feet up and go around. We're going to do little circles. I'm going to go 5 one way and then 5 back the other way. So first we're going to go out, so as wide as you can, point, bring together, bring back to the center. So out, point, bring back together, out, point, pull off the ground all the way back, point, bring back, out, point, bring back. We'll go the other way, point, out as wide as you can. It's okay if you're shaking a little bit. Point, out, bring back, point, out, bring back, point, out, bring back. So the goal there is to be able to get your feet flat, almost to the ground. See how my feet are almost laying on the ground? So you want to be able to do that and then wrap them around. So some people might be able to get them flat. So that's another way you can warm up your ankles. Another one, it looks hectic, but it's not. So is actually stretching the front bit of your foot. So I'll show you from the side. So your knees, you're sitting just on your knees like this, and you're gonna basically roll up, and you can either be pushed up or like this. If you have bony feet like me, you might want to fold your yoga mat over because it hurts. So you're basically sitting and pulling your knees up. So that's a really basic warm up that you can do for freediving. So whether you're going for a fun dive or a dive down a line, warming up your ankles, your neck and your hips really have helped me, on top of doing those diaphragm and lung stretches. So you can take as long as you want doing these or as little as you want. Anything really helps in my opinion. Doing 5 minutes of stretching is better than doing no stretching. So yeah, I recommend doing it as much as you can. And yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments what other stuff you'd like to see. I'd love to teach you guys some more stuff. I'm just trying to keep it really basic so it's good for people that have never even freedived before, and also will be able to help people that are even advanced freedivers. So thanks for watching, and I hope you guys learnt something and have something to take home from this. And yeah, the viz is not that good at the moment, so I'm not going diving today, but might head down the beach now with my dog. Yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys next week.